Today, we're telling you the story of a man who turned unbearable loss into unstoppable power. He lost his father, he lost his brother, he lost his son, and still, he built the most feared name in racing. This is Enzo Ferrari. 8 of his drivers would die racing his cars. His factories would be bombed. He would face public trials and private heartbreak. But from tragedy after tragedy, he created an empire that still makes the world tremble at the sound of an engine. From a small workshop in Modena to the roar of Formula One, Enzo Ferrari's life is not just about cars. It's about obsession, resilience, and refusing to be broken. Early life and tragedy. Enzo Anselmo Giuseppe Maria Ferrari was born on February 18, 1898, in Modena, Italy. He grew up next to his father Alfredo's mechanical workshop, surrounded by the smell of oil, metal, and ambition. As a young boy, he dreamed not of wealth or fame, but of speed. At the age of 10, Enzo witnessed Italian racing legend Felice Nazzaro win the 1908 Circuito di Bologna. That moment lit a fire inside him. From that day, he didn't just want to watch racing, he wanted to live it. But life would test him brutally. In 1916, both his father and older brother died during the Italian flu outbreak. 2 years later, Enzo himself nearly died from the 1918 pandemic while serving in World War I. By the time he was 20, he had faced more loss than most people do in a lifetime. Many would have surrendered to fate. Enzo chose ambition instead. First steps in racing. Rejected by Fiat, Enzo began working as a test driver for CMN, rebuilding trucks into cars. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't fame, but it was movement toward his dream. In 1919, he competed in his first hill climb race, finishing 4th. Later that year, he entered the Targa Florio. Though he retired due to a fuel leak, something inside him had already locked in. Racing was no longer a hobby, it was destiny. Ugo Savocci. During this time, Enzo met Ugo Savocci, an Italian racing pioneer and close friend. Savocci believed in him, encouraged him, and helped open doors early in his career. He also introduced the green 4-leaf clover symbol for luck, a symbol that would become part of racing history. In 1923, Savocci died during a testing accident. For Enzo, it was another brutal reminder. Racing gave glory, but it also demanded sacrifice. Alfa Romeo and Scuderia Ferrari. In 1920, Enzo joined Alfa Romeo's racing team. He proved himself capable behind the wheel, winning the 1923 Grand Prix at Ravenna. In 1924, he had his strongest season, including victory at the Coppa Acerbo in Pescara. But tragedy followed him again. Savocci in 1923, Antonio Ascari in 1925. Death was becoming familiar. And slowly, Enzo realized something powerful. His true talent was not driving, it was building champions. In 1929, he founded Scuderia Ferrari, managing Alfa Romeo's racing division. He assembled legends like Tazio Nuvolari and Giuseppe Campari. Under his leadership, with cars like the Alfa Romeo P3, the team dominated Europe. The prancing horse, inspired by World War I pilot Francesco Baracca, became the symbol of courage, speed, and relentless ambition. War, independence, and Ferrari S.p.A. In 1937, Alfa Romeo absorbed Scuderia Ferrari. Enzo returned as sporting director, but he felt restricted. He wanted control. He wanted independence. In 1939, he founded Auto Avio Costruzioni. Bound by contract, he couldn't even use his own name in racing. But ambition does not wait for permission. World War II forced his factory into war production. Allied bombings destroyed his workshop in Modena. Most men would have quit. Enzo rebuilt. He moved operations to Maranello, the future home of Ferrari. And in 1947, Ferrari S.p.A. was born. For the first time, cars carried his name. It was no longer a team. It was a legacy in motion. Formula One and early triumphs. Ferrari entered open-wheel racing in 1948. In 1949, the Ferrari 166mm won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In 1950, Ferrari joined the inaugural Formula One World Championship and has competed in every season since. Alberto Ascari won back-to-back titles in 1952 and 1953. Ferrari was no longer rising. It had arrived. But again, tragedy. In 1957, during the Mille Miglia, a Ferrari 335S crashed at over 250 kilometers per hour. Driver Alfonso de Portago, his co-driver, and 9 spectators were killed. Enzo faced manslaughter charges. Years of public pressure followed. The case was dismissed in 1961. But inside, the weight of loss never left him. Tony Brooks once said, "He thought pressure produced greatness. He pushed us to limits we never knew we had." Personal life, love, loss, and obsession. Enzo married Laura Dominica Garello in 1923. Their marriage endured decades of triumph and tension. They had one son, Alfredo Dino Ferrari, born in 1932, the heir to his empire. But in 1956, Dino died from muscular dystrophy at just 24. After Dino's death, Ferrari rarely spoke publicly about his grief, but those close to him said something changed. Racing was no longer business. It was obsession. It was escape. It was control in a world that had taken too much from him. Enzo also had a second son, Piero Lardi Ferrari, born in 1945 with Lina Lardi, officially recognized after Laura's death. His private life was complex, but his focus never wavered from one thing: victory. Iconic car models timeline: 1947 to 1987. Ferrari created machines that became legends themselves. Alfa Romeo P3. Early dominance. Ferrari 166mm, first Le Mans victory. Ferrari 250 Series endurance glory. Dino, a tribute to his son. Ferrari F40, raw, uncompromising power. Ferrari Enzo, a posthumous tribute to the founder. To Ferrari, the car was never just metal, it was identity. Management style and champions. 1960s to 1980s. Enzo ruled with intensity. He created competition between drivers. He applied psychological pressure. He demanded total focus. He believed greatness required discomfort. Champions under him. John Surtees, 1964. Niki Lauda, 1975 and 1977. Jody Scheckter, 1979. But even in the 1980s, tragedy struck again. Gilles Villeneuve's fatal crash in 1982 and Didier Pironi's career-ending accident. Victory and loss were forever intertwined. Final years and legacy. Enzo Ferrari died on August 14, 1988, at age 90 in Maranello. At his request, the news was released after his burial. Weeks later, Ferrari achieved a symbolic 1-2 finish at the Italian Grand Prix, the only race McLaren did not win that season. Before his death, he witnessed the launch of the Ferrari F40, a car as uncompromising as the man himself. In 2002, the Ferrari Enzo carried his name into a new era. Enzo Ferrari didn't just build cars, he built immortality through speed. He turned grief into gasoline, pressure into performance, tragedy into triumph. Every time a Ferrari engine roars across a racetrack, it echoes the will of a man who refused to be broken. This was Enzo Ferrari, and the prancing horse still roars the symbol of courage and speed. Thanks for watching Motivational Minute. Inspired by Enzo Ferrari? Like, share, subscribe, and take one bold step toward your own greatness.